To the Fort Worth Star-Telegram, Michael Sam said during a speech last Thursday in Dallas that he's not the only gay person in the NFL. Take a look. I'm just saying there is a lot of us. I respect the players that did reach out to me and had the courage to tell me that they were also gay, but they do not have the same courage as I do to come out before I even played it down in the NFL. Was it a risky move? Yes, but at the moment, the reason why I came out, I thought it wasn't going to be a big deal. Maybe I was naive. Maybe I thought it was 2014 and people will understand that there's gay NFL players. I'm just saying there's some famous people, and I'm not the only one. All right, Stephen A. Michael Sam said he thought he was perhaps naive when he thought it wouldn't be a big deal, admitting that he was gay. Your take on his comments?
First things first, I don't believe him when he says that. Don't tell me that you didn't think it was going to be a big deal, because if that were the case, you wouldn't have felt the need to announce it when he sat down to do the interview. You knew it was a big deal. All right, so let's not engage in that kind of rhetoric, because I don't believe that. What I'm about to say, however, has absolutely nothing to do with the fact that Michael Sam is gay, that's his sexual orientation, or that he's the first openly gay player to be selected in the NFL draft. It's on a different note that I bring up this subject. What I have a problem with, as it pertains to his quotes, is him saying he's not the only guy in the NFL. I'm like, what's the purpose of saying that? He also goes as far as to say that, I'm just looking for the exact quote here. I respect the players that did reach out to me and had the courage to tell me that they were also gay, but they do not have the same courage as I do. Really? You want to go there? I mean, and then you want to sit back and then you want to try to backtrack and say, well, you know what? I hope that, that I'm not in the league because I'm gay. I don't believe that's why I'm not in the league right now. Well, to be quite honest with you, Michael Sam, you don't have to believe it. I'll say it for you. I believe that's why he's not in the league. That's my personal belief. I believe he's not in the league. Michael Sam was the co-defensive player of the year at Missouri. He got drafted in the seventh round. I don't want to hear that. I mean, the NFL could say whatever they want to say. They could scream until the cows come home. I personally don't believe a single solitary soul that says, oh, excuse me, he's just not good enough. No. Don't tell me that Michael Sam can't be in a practice squad. Don't tell me that he can't be on somebody's bench, coming off the bench to rush the pass on a football. I don't believe it. This kid was too good at Missouri not to be drafted higher than the 7th round, and I believe, my personal belief is that his sexual orientation, him being gay, has something to do with him not being on the NFL roster. With that being said, to me, it's still inexcusable to go where he went, because now what you did was you basically put a microscope out there for folks to well, who's he talking about? You know what I'm saying? And then you not only mentioned that there were players that called you, but you said some stars. Well, ain't too many stars in the NFL now. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you got some pretty good players, but when you use the word stars, okay, ain't too many of them in the NFL. So once again, who is he talking about? It almost seems like he's suffering. He's being prejudiced against. He wants to bring attention to it, and he used other people in order to do it by saying what he said. And there's just certain codes in the world of sports that you just don't use. You just don't do. You don't put guys out there like that. That's my problem with what he had to say. He made a problem of, as it pertained obviously to himself. And he's brought into focus yet again his sexual orientation, because now he's saying there are other guys, you just don't know who they are. But, in other words, I'd like to see what you would do if you knew who they were.
To your point, Stephen A., he admitted that, and he said this to the Dallas Star-Telegram, I'm unemployed and I don't...
Fort Worth Star-Telegram.
Fort Worth, yeah. I'm unemployed and I don't believe I'm out of the NFL because I'm gay, but if it was a reason, it could hurt their livelihood, and you don't want to take that chance. So this is why he's suggesting why he won't mention anyone else, although you think he's turning...
I'm saying he shouldn't have said it. That's my point.
Okay, back to your earlier points. I said before that draft I would take him in the 3rd round.
Right.
I watched him a lot at Missouri. he jumped off my screen occasionally. Now, he had great bookend ends on the other side who were wreaking havoc and drawing double teams. So he often had single blockers on him, but he took full advantage. And to your point, co-SEC Defensive Player of the Year, that's pretty great. Okay, so he goes in the last round. And where I have sympathy for him, what he did not deserve was he was forced as a late pick, almost into the draft pick, to fail in the brightest spotlight. That was hard on this kid. So our Jarrett Bell, who works for ESPN and USA Today, it's been a week ago or so, wrote a pretty critical column of Michael Sam when he tried out at that Veterans Combine and didn't run very well. And Jarrett's point, I'm just going to sum it up, was, hey, you are a celebrity, whether you like it or not. You become a big deal. You're not a star, but you're a celebrity. And he was very defensive with the media after that. He was very curt in his answers. He wouldn't answer a question about Dancing with the Stars. And the media wanted to know how he felt about being in Dancing with the Stars, even though that wasn't a football question. And Jared's point was, you need to make peace with that because that's who you become, whether you like it or not. Now, back to your point about sexual orientation. Is that the reason he's no longer in the National Football League?
I don't think that's the only reason.
Okay, I find it hard to believe because I know this league pretty well. Listen, if you've got the goods and you immediately display the goods in a training camp or on a practice squad, hey, I know Jerry Jones, he will put up with a whole lot of circus, a whole lot of celebrity around you if you've got the goods. Let me finish real quick. I read and I heard that in St. Louis during that camp, he didn't work very hard. But I thought he played pretty well in the flashes we saw late in those preseason games against Johnny Manziel. He sacked Johnny. And yet he got to Dallas's practice squad, and I again kept hearing from people in Dallas, well, he doesn't seem very committed to working hard in practice. Well, you got to. You know, whether you like it or not, you're still a late pick, you know, almost at the bottom of the draft. Well, there's no excuse for that. I still believe he's got the goods, but you got it. You can't come in at like, I'm Michael Sam. Well, you're not as a football player, not yet.
Skip, your argument would resonate with me more significantly if we were talking about a starting position or whatever. There are 53 spots on an NFL roster. This is a co-defensive player of the year in the SEC. You had him projected as a third-round pick. I had him as a fourth.
But everybody said he was undersized and slow.
I know
okay,
that.
He's slow.
They said
he ran slow
he was
at the
undersized and slow. But if that's the case, Skip, why did it take Jerry Jones and the Dallas Cowboys to pick him off of their practice squad? You know why? Because the NFL couldn't get anybody to touch him. The fact is, why was St. Louis the first team to draft him? Because there was no one else that could touch him. And right there in their home state, obviously in an effort to show the world that we have evolved,
right.
All right, that we are, you know, whatever way whether you're less tolerant, whatever, all of this nonsense, because most of us are liberal and we don't have a problem with it, but you have some folks out there who do. The fact is that it took St. Louis to draft him, and it took Jerry Jones doing the league a favor to pick him up for the practice squad after. Listen, we work for ESPN. Let's put it on Front Street. We work for ESPN. There are plenty of reporters, there are plenty of analysts who walk around this building who do not hesitate to educate us on some of the issues sifting through the NFL. And I'm not telling you what I think. I'm telling you what I've been told by folks who are employed here and who know what the hell they're talking about when it comes to the NFL. And I'm not saying this is the only reason, but it did factor into the equation. So it is what it is. Michael Sam knows this. And to sit up there and to give this quote about other players who did not have the courage that he had, I kind of think that was a low ball move on his part.
Okay, you're saying he's making an excuse about it, right?
No, I'm saying that he's bringing attention, potentially, to other people
players,
who may lack his courage, and I don't think that's fair on his part.
Why is he saying that, though? Why do you think he's saying that publicly?
Because once again, you're highlighting the fact that you feel victimized.
Yeah.
And you don't feel like you're getting a fair shake.
Right.
And that's why he put in the quote, it's 2014, maybe I was
And I don't
naive.
think that's fair to them.
Although I want to say that, do you believe Skip does have a point? It may be a little bit of what you're saying and what Skip is saying.
Sure.
He just didn't
It's not
do
totally
enough
that.
work.
It's not totally that.
It could
And
be a
plus,
little bit
listen,
of both.
when Dallas signed him, I was like, yeah, because they badly needed a pass rusher last
Yeah.
year. Why did they
He
sign Greg
wanted to
Hardy?
get the job done. You're saying this is what you're hearing.
Listen, if you can play, this league will put up with Greg Hardy. You know, like, okay, what just happened? They don't
It's
care.
not an accident that the Dallas Cowboys picked him up for their practice squad. They could have done without him. They have enough distractions. But guess what? They're the Dallas Cowboys. They're America's team. And if anybody is equipped to deal with quote-unquote distractions,
That's
and that's
true.
not fair to Michael Sam,
Yeah.
but
You're saying
anybody
it's
that if anybody's equipped to deal with distractions, it would be the Cowboys.
Michael Sam says he is on Dancing with the Stars. That is his employer, and that's how he makes all of his money. He left it at that, again, being short and curt with reporters when asked about it. Coming up next, being the winningest coach in school history was not enough for Rick Barnes to keep his job. The guys will talk about it after the break.